Hey PC builders, this is CheffyTech here. It's a video I wanted to do just based on the amount of screwdrivers I bought this year. I saw a lot of videos that do reviews and they're great. Thank everyone for doing those that do those. But I wanted to do my, not review video, but the screwdrivers that I have and why I would or wouldn't purchase them again. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through my screwdriver story, if you will. Alright, so what you're looking at here is a collection of not all my screwdrivers, but the screwdrivers that I use when I am doing PC repairs or PC builds primarily. All of these minus two of them I have purchased this year, 2025. That being said, this whole screwdriver journey would never have taken place if it weren't for this screwdriver. This was gifted to me by a very close friend of mine, and I've used it religiously for years, even outside of even outside of PC building. It is an expensive screwdriver. If you can find one like this, they still exist. But well over $100 and new. I've seen these on eBay for over $200. The only reason that I stopped using this screwdriver is because the ratcheting mechanism had stopped at one point. It seems to work just fine again, but when it went out, I was forced to use manual, regular non-ratcheting screwdrivers, and it was just a pain in the butt. This screwdriver, the back screws off. Usually there's bits in there, but it's magnetic, not as strong as the LTT screwdriver, but all in all, it's an absolutely fabulous screwdriver, and I hope to continue using it for years and years and years. I'm not 100% sure, but if you were to look at these two screwdrivers, they're remarkably similar. I've looked at the story on the LTT screwdriver, and they had a screwdriver that they designed that after. I often wonder if this was a predecessor to that, or even possibly in that category of screwdrivers. This bit is a bit that I actually got at Harbor Freight. I use it quite a bit. It's a little bit longer than the bits that all these screwdrivers come with, and it just bites the screws really, really well, even all the way down to motherboard screws. But yeah, this screwdriver takes very little, I don't know what you want to call it, very little torque to get it to spin, so it's great for the very delicate screws that you find in PC building. That being said, when this one died, remember I didn't pay for this, it was given to me, and I love it to death. But when it died, I was forced to use manual screwdrivers. I only have this one manual screwdriver in this video today because for those of you that build PCs, you might automatically know why I have this really long straight slot screwdriver, is that you need something like this for your air cooling. You have to forgive me, Adam. I got an air cooler sitting over here that I'm hoping to do a build with possibly today. This is one of the new Thermalright. It's actually got a digital readout here. I added an extra fan. I knew I had a whole bunch of the same fans that it came with, so I'm going to run it in push-pull. Love the screwdriver. But when you install an air cooler like this, if you're not familiar, I'm sure most of you are, but the two screws are at the bottom of the device. So if you were to have a dual tower especially, you have to get a screwdriver that will go all the way down the length of the device to be able to screw it in. These screwdrivers won't make it. They're not long enough. Even with a long bit, it still won't make it. So manual long shafted screwdrivers are still a thing, still necessary. So I always keep this in my office or my build studio next door because it always comes in handy. The other thing I need this for quite often is I like building in small cases. You can't see I've got a 5070 sitting here, but in small cases it's very difficult to get to the PCIe release lever for these graphics cards, and this is very helpful to sneak in there and get that button pushed so you can get that graphics card out. But when this screwdriver died, I decided that I needed another ratcheting screwdriver. So I bought this one on eBay. I'm going to go through the prices that I paid here shortly. I'm not sure if it'll show the price I paid or the price that it costs now. But this is a Klein. Some of the gentlemen that I know at work use a variant of this screwdriver. So I got this one since it was similar to what I had been using. It comes with a handle full of bits. They're not very magnetic. If they're magnetic, they just don't show it. They have a little retention mechanism that keeps them in the screwdriver, but if you're removing tiny little PC screws, they almost always fall into the device, which is a pain in the butt. The main issue that I had with this, which meant that it's basically brand new because I really never used it, is the torque that's necessary to get this to ratchet is very high. This would be great for automotive work, in even some cases not so much, because it takes so much force to get it to ratchet that it normally just unscrews whatever you're trying to screw in, or vice versa. It's real easy to change the direction. But the other issue is that this little direction selector is hard plastic. And even when I'm just working on a PC, inevitably I have something on my hand, and this is not easy to grab. And then you can barely tell there's some arrows on there. They're hard to see. That being said, I'm being negative, but I do like the screwdriver. It's just not a good fit for the PC, do-it-yourself genre. I kind of held off. I'm going to leave this one alone for a few minutes. I held off because of the price. This was like a $20 screwdriver. Let me jump over to the computer here real quick. The issue that I had with the screwdrivers, the ratcheting screwdrivers, was always the price. It looks like I bought this one in April. I believe I paid $20-ish. Let's see, it's still $23. It's a great screwdriver, especially for that price. And I'm not being negative and saying you get what you pay for, but this screwdriver is not intended to be a PC do-it-yourself screwdriver. So that one really never got used. If I were to go back, I also bought the small version of that screwdriver. I forgot to bring that one in here. It's tiny. It has a little bit more magnetism. I don't know if that's just a side effect of its size, but it works great. But this is a tiny screwdriver, and it's $17 as well. I think I paid $15 at the time. Great screwdriver. This one is really good for small electronics work, but it does not ratchet. I didn't realize that when I bought this one because I didn't read well enough. Anywho. So I've tried both of the Klein screwdrivers. They're not bad. They're just not what I was going for. But at the same time I bought the small one, I also bought this Fanttik screwdriver. And I think I did pay around $60 for it. It looks like it's on sale right now for $45. That's not a bad price. I don't want to be negative, but if I were to be honest with you, if I had to do it over again, I would pass on this screwdriver. Main reason, I love the little case. It's cool to look at. You pop it out, and the screwdriver pops out. It comes with a ton of bits. I think I've used 2. I almost always go for this bit right here. The magnetism on this is very weak. I have done everything I can to improve it. If you look at this, it's got a little magnet area. I've tried to find directions to increase the magnetism. There's nothing that specifically says what to do. But it's got this tiny little forward and backward switch. And it does have some adjustment in the amount of torque. That being said, if I put it on high torque, it doesn't feel too bad if you're trying to stop it with your fingers, but this won't. I've yet to find a screw such as a fan screw that this will either put in completely or take out. So I almost immediately stopped using this screwdriver. The other thing is this button is nearly flush to the screwdriver itself. So when you are neck deep in computer assembly, you can't feel the button, and it seems to always be somewhere other than where you need it to be. I know that sounds negative. It is a negative of the screwdriver, but the screwdriver itself just not what I needed for how I do my work. And once again, I'm not a full-time computer builder. It's just a hobby. I like building them more than I like playing games on them. I only play a few games, really. But yeah, the bits are great. They magnetize into the holder. They just don't really have a lot of magnetism outside of that. It's not enough to move the screwdriver or bits. There's a little magnet area. I don't know how to get it to get any stronger. It was stronger when I first got it. I've only used it, 10 or 15 times, and it's never really come back. It's got a USB-C charging port in the back. I charge it every couple of uses just to keep it charged. The light is nice, but I've got my studio lights and stuff on in here. It just doesn't really have enough light to make any difference for me. To put it back in the case, you just push that in and click it down. The same thing here, you put it in, you click it down, and it stays in there. So it's a great screwdriver, once again, for PC building, just not for me. It would be a pass at the price it's at. If it was $20, I'd probably buy it just to have it, but outside of that, I would just take a pass on it. After I purchased this screwdriver and just was not happy with it, I watched every video I could on the LTT screwdriver. I really wanted to know if it was just the thing to have in the tech tuber area, or whatever you want to call it, or if it was really a good screwdriver for PC building. That being said, it is as good or better than my snap-on screwdriver. I think I paid $70 for the screwdriver. Everything said and done with shipping and taxes, it was very close to $100. That being said, it's the most expensive screwdriver I have here. In fact, it's probably as expensive as all of these screwdrivers combined, obviously minus itself. That being said, would I buy it again? Yes. I would buy it again 100 times over. It is an awesome screwdriver. I use it all the time. A few times I've taken it out of my build area, my office or my build studio, to do other projects with it, and I'm just like, I just can't bring myself to do it. It's too good of a tool. I don't want it to get bashed up. That being said, the snap-on was used by a gentleman that works on fire apparatus, fire trucks, ambulances, things like that. It's been beat up, and it's always worked until it didn't, and it was probably just something stuck in it and it found its way loose. But I don't want this one to get any damage, so I pretty much only use it while I'm doing computer projects or electronics. Comes with all the bits in the back. Most of the videos I've seen, people have broke these little clips, so I fully expect that to happen eventually. So I'll keep it for as long, I'll keep all the bits in there as long as I can. They hold on really well. The magnet is strong enough. This is a heavy screwdriver, by the way. It's got a powerful magnet. It's great. When I drop screws, I can just use the screwdriver to pick it up. When they fall into the case, I'll just wave it around like a magic wand and it typically finds them. I would buy this screwdriver 1,000 times over. They have a little snubby version of this screwdriver. I'm probably going to buy that. They have their I don't know what you want to call it. They have their little tiny screwdriver set, Precision, I believe is what they call it. I will probably buy that as well. I'm not a big, huge fanboy of anybody for that matter, whether it be LTT or any of the other big tech tubers. But when a product is good, or better yet, when a product is great or outstanding, it's worth the money. If this lasted a year for $100, I'd buy it every year. I don't know how else I could say it. I love this screwdriver. It is outstanding. Whoever designed it in real life, you did an outstanding job. It's fabulous. I can't speak highly enough about it. That being said, I build a lot of computers. Besides building computers, I'll take them apart and put them in new cases. Like I said, I enjoy the art of building the computer more than I do playing with a computer. I like watching the internet as much as the next person, but I like putting things together. my channel name, CheffyTech, that's 100% what I am. I've been a chef my entire life. I am no longer a chef. I'm semi-retired. Being a chef is making things. You know, some people call it an art. I'm not on that boat. You know, art, sure, fine. But it's about putting things together. I've always loved putting things together. I like starting with things and finishing with a finished item, whether that's food or whether that's computers or whether it's a car. Heaven forbid, I don't know. I'm gabbing, so I'm gonna try to keep moving along here. Recently, I was watching a channel that I watch quite a bit, and you may have heard of them, MetaPC. Their stream is really good. Those guys sit there and answer questions for 4 hours straight. To me, I watch them for, you know, as I turn it on in the background while I'm doing other things, but I hear them answering the same questions over and over. Is this a good build? Is this a good build? Is this a good build? Normally I don't get annoyed by that. I just don't know how those poor guys can answer those same questions for 4 hours straight, 5 days a week. You are a better bunch of guys than I am. But that being said, I'm not going to use names. I don't know whether that's frowned upon or not, but the two gentlemen that operate their stream on Twitch, at least, I'm pretty sure that they're streaming on all the platforms. But they chatted about the main screwdriver he uses. He uses this Hoto screwdriver. And that being said, I'm going to leave this LTT screwdriver here. I'm going to move these out of the way. But I watched him do things with his screwdriver that I could never dream of doing with this screwdriver. At one point I asked him, and then I kind of let it go. I had this $100 screwdriver, but a while back I got this little rush. I built like, I don't know, 6 or 8 PCs in a matter of a week and a half, maybe like 10 days. And it's not hard by any means, but I thought, man, I really want to find the electric version of this screwdriver, and I will say that that's what this is. This is not a review of this screwdriver, but what it is was the epitome. Outside of the long screwdriver for getting into the air-cooled items, I could survive with just these 2 screwdrivers. If I can open this up, it just kind of slides off here, not magnetic, just a plastic lid. But it is the Hoto screwdriver. It is like the big version of the Fanttik screwdriver. It's got an LCD. The button actually sticks out, and the screwdriver is large enough that I can grab it from the back, I can grab it from the side, I can grab it from the top. It seems the button it's not perfect, but it's way better than that last screwdriver. Comes with a wide assortment of bits. They are magnetic. They are not as strong as the LTT screwdriver, but they do what they need to do. I don't typically use this screwdriver for motherboard screws or anything like that, but when it comes to installing fans and power supplies and things that are not so delicate, this has become my go-to screwdriver. It comes with a full-size normal screwdriver bit. I don't know what the number is. It's a PH2. There is no way you could stop this. Even on the lowest setting, you couldn't stop this. In fact, one of the videos I watched online, a gentleman was putting deck screws into what looked like 2x4s or 4x4s or something like that, and this thing just kept going. It slowed down, obviously, but it got all the screwdrivers he put in, they all went in. It didn't stop. I'm sure he could have put in 20 or 30 before the battery got low enough. This too charges with USB-C. The first time I plugged it in, it took, you know, I don't know, an hour before the light kind of went steady. I'm assuming that meant it was fully charged. I didn't read the instructions because who does? But yeah, it's got 3 torque settings. Even on the lowest, it seems to be able to put in, especially if you're actually using fan screws, it puts them in no problem whatsoever. I love this screwdriver. I keep it in a little case because it's a little shrine. But yeah, would highly recommend. Let me go back over to the computer here. If I go back, like I said, I haven't had that screwdriver for very long. It looks like it says I got it on October 31st, which means I've only had it a week or so, but I love this screwdriver. $36, I believe, is about what I paid for it. It's worth twice that, every bit of twice that. To me, it's worth more than the Fanttik screwdriver. It's stronger, it's better. I like how it, comes with all these bits. I know you can't see it all because my main screen is odd size. But yeah, definitely a must-have for me. Once again, this is another one that at the price it's at, I would buy it every year if I had to. But yeah, I mean, I have more screwdrivers, but those are the ones that I use religiously. These two screwdrivers are always on my desk. They never leave my desk. If I have to go next door into my build studio, I call it my build studio because it's not pretty. I haven't painted the walls and put up these little hexagon acoustic tiles and things like that. I used to build in there religiously, but it's just easier in here since all the lights in here and so forth. But these stay in here. If I build anything in the other room, I'll take them in there, but I leave them in here as a decoration, like a badge of honor. I'm proud to own these screwdrivers. I guess that's as large as praise, or the best praise that I could give it. If you have any questions about any of these screwdrivers, throw them in the comments as usual. I really appreciate the people that have been watching the videos. I think I only have 9 or 10 videos total, but I do appreciate it. It's kind of a thrill to watch the numbers go up. The comments are great. I try to answer every comment, especially if it's a question, and I've gotten a ton of questions, especially on the Thermalright Trofeo Vision videos that I put out. I threw a short out today because I finally had the issue that people were talking about where it didn't come on. It was a simple fix. You can catch the video on that. But yeah, outside of that, that is my screwdriver collection. That's what I use to do all my builds. I wish someone had come out and made a video that to me didn't seem like they were paid in any way, shape, or form. I know all the YouTubers say, oh, they don't have any say in my video, and I agree with that, but there's still that implied bias of they gave me this. I would assume that if it was a crap device that they wouldn't even put out a video, but the fact that they put out a video means that there's still a certain amount of bias. These two screwdrivers that I have in front of me here, the Hoto and then the LTT screwdriver. Now that I've owned them and used them, I would probably pay substantially more, up to around double the money that they actually cost to keep them in my possession, in my collection. That's it for now. Thank you so much. Sorry this video got long-winded. I'm pretty good at making long-winded videos. CheffyTech out. Have a great day. Once again, throw the questions down below. Thanks, guys.